What Japanese foods do you know besides sushi? I'm going to tell you about some more, okay? I prepared some questions for you this week. I asked my colleagues, and I got a lot of the answers from them, and mixed this with some ideas from the internet. So, if you try to cheat and look up the answers before you think for yourself, it's not going to help you. Alright, let's get into it. So, what do Japanese traditionally eat? This is your first challenge. What is breakfast, and what is lunch, and what is dinner? So, we see from the left there a little bit of salmon with some seaweed, rice, raw egg, miso soup. What's in the middle there? A little bit of fried fish. Comes with some vegetables there, mix, and some pickles. On the far right, some cabbage again with some fried food and some miso soup with eggplant and rice. Did you put it in order? Here we go. It's a trick. It's already in order. There you go. Traditionally, the difference between the three meals isn't so big. They didn't tend to eat a lot of meat, and if you talk to people who say over 50 or over 60, this is probably what they grew up eating, something kind of like this. Not that they eat fried food every day, but I try to give you a generalization. One thing that's interesting, if you do have fried food, you basically also have a lot of vegetables, especially shredded cabbage. And those pickles, they're really salty, but that's the point to have white rice. It makes a good balance. So it's based around rice, fish, pickles, and miso soup. Probably shouldn't be surprising because the five main flavorings for Japanese food, we can remember them by sa, shi, su, se, so. Let's see. So sa is sugar, shi is salt, su is vinegar, se is soy sauce, and so is miso. Those five things are found in very many or all of the traditional Japanese food. What do Japanese people eat these days? If you talk to someone under 30, what do they often eat and what did they grow up eating? It's not so different really if you look at these pictures. There's of course still a lot of rice. I'm trying to give the image that maybe it's becoming more meaty and a little bit less vegetable-y. Of course, this is a big generalization, but go ahead, put on breakfast, lunch, and dinner on these. From left to right, we have some chicken on rice bowl. In the middle, we have some noodles with a little bit of veggies and some fried tofu in there. And on the right, we have some white rice with a raw egg. All right, what is it? Okay, just reverse the order. Starting with the breakfast on the right, yeah, they actually just like to put a raw egg on rice, mix it up, and slurp it down. This is one of those things I've never tried, and I certainly don't plan to. The noodle thing is big these days, especially we could change this picture with a picture of cup noodle. Does that make sense? Cup noodle? On the right, yeah, more and more meat is coming into the diet. Chicken, pork, and beef. All three of those are becoming more and more major. Let's go into more detail about noodles. I am telling you, Japanese people are crazy about men. The girls, the boys, the old women, the old men, they all love men, I'm telling you. Because men is the Japanese word for noodle. Did you think I meant something else? So on the left we have udon, or udon, and this, you can eat this hot or cold, just like with the soba, and it often comes with some tempura, fried something or other. A lot of people will eat these noodles just plain. It's very interesting. just cold, plain noodles. This is very good to many people. And they dip them in a sauce. I don't mean they eat them just dry. On the right, the soba, it's a little healthier, made of buckwheat. And again, eat it fairly simple and plain as a cold dish, or eat it as a hot dish with some vegetables or a little bit of meat in it. Alright, well, I like soba, but I have to tell you about the king of men is definitely ramen. Alright, and everybody in Japan is so proud of their city's ramen. So Sapporo, where I live, has the country's best ramen. Just ask anybody in Sapporo. If you go to Fukuoka, you realize, actually, Fukuoka has the best ramen. Or wait, no, Ikebukuro has the world's best ramen, and you get the idea. Here's one example. In Sapporo, some people eat this butter corn ramen. Look at all that butter. Okay, actually, I haven't eaten that one. Sorry, I can't eat that. Well, Fukuoka is famous for pork bone, and Ikebukuro is famous for something or other. Sorry, I can't remember. But most ramen is more simple than this. In fact, I'm going to teach you how to order ramen. Okay, let's go to the ramen shop. Here we go. You just go in, you sit down, the waiter comes up to you, says welcome. All you have to do is say salt. You got it. And you take a picture, you put it on social media, and you slurp it. You're kind of supposed to slurp the noodles, all right? It's said to be polite. That's kind of true. If you don't slurp the noodles, the ramen master, if it's a small place, they might think that you don't enjoy it, and they're not going to say anything to you. But slurping sort of is standard, and that's one way to show you're enjoying. It's very simple to order. We're talking about 3 types of broth. Okay, you usually just choose the broth, and the rest of the noodles, vegetables, meat, that is kind of standardized based on the shop. It's usually full of green onions and bamboo shoots, probably egg, and a big slice of pork meat. That's pretty standard. You choose between soy sauce broth, salt broth, or miso broth. That's it. You get those 3 choices, and you just have to say one word. It feels a bit rude to me, but that's the culture, isn't it? So, okay, we've got some favorite foods. We've already talked about ramen. People are crazy about ramen, man. And fish, certainly these are favorite. Well, I asked some of my colleagues about their other favorite foods. What do you think they are? Cake. They love cake out here. And fruit. So, the cakes they eat, it's fruit cake. They don't like the heavy cake. They have the fluffy fruit cream type cake. They love it. Look at this fruit. It's a bit hard to see, but this costs 15,750 Japanese yen. That's about $150. Okay. Each peach is, say, $25, and then the bunch of grapes is $50, something like that. I see it and I still don't even believe it. It's often given as a gift. This is sort of ceremonial fruit, or I guess I can use the word traditional to make a business relationship. It's not something that somebody just buys and takes home to eat for themselves. And most fruit does not cost this much. But it is one interesting part of the culture. Can't talk about favorite food without talking about sushi. Sushi, popular with all ages. It's the pizza of Japan. So we have 4 pictures here. Which is the archetypical sushi? If you say sushi for a Japanese person, what image goes into their mind? Alright? Is it A, B, C, or D? What do you think? Well, is a sushi roll, and that's quite popular in America, but yeah, not so much in Japan. It's popular with kids. The B style, it's called nigiri. Now that is what Japanese think of as sushi. It's pretty simple. It's a piece of fish which has been prepared, it sometimes has been prepared with some vinegar, and the rice is also prepared with vinegar, and just put it on top. There's a little bit of wasabi under the fish usually, and you dip it in soy sauce. Now, this is not sushi, this is sashimi. Now, sashimi is not treated at all. It's just thinly sliced raw fish. And you do dip this in soy sauce as well, and maybe add wasabi if you would like. D is a hand roll. These are fun for parties. So, kind of do-it-yourself sort of thing at a party. How about when Japanese people go out? What's a popular thing to dine out on? Well, like many countries in the world, Italian and Chinese food is really quite popular. So the typical Italian dish is spaghetti. I think if Japanese people say pasta, they are thinking spaghetti. Chinese food is really varied, and this gyoza pot stickers is just one example. Although Chinese food in Japan is very different from Chinese food in America, and then according to my Chinese colleagues, the real thing is different from either of those. In Sapporo, one of the signature dishes is soup curry. This is great. So soup curry, you can basically get the image, I think. It's a very thin broth, which is quite spicy, has lots of semi-fried vegetables with a piece of meat, usually a chicken or pork, and it's one of the few Japanese foods which are really spicy. So we talked about festivals last week. I didn't tell you about the foods. What are the most popular festival foods? I think there's a trio. It's the magic three. The three yakis, okay? We have okonomiyaki, takoyaki, and yakisoba. So yaki means grilled, alright? Okonomiyaki, a big mix of seafood, pork, cabbage, onions, a special yam called a nagaimo, and then it's all grilled up, put an egg on top, put some sauce on it. Wonderful, wonderful. Takoyaki, taco means octopus. It doesn't sound nice in English, it's fried octopus balls. The fried flour has octopus inside, and then also a lot of sauce on that. And then yakisoba, fried noodles. So, I don't really know why, but these three foods are very hard to eat when you're walking around. The okonomiyaki is always on a paper plate. You have to eat it fast before the plate melts. Or, it's like the yakisoba, it's in a plastic container, which is always folding. Hard to eat. The takoyaki, that looks easy to eat, but it's super hot inside, like a volcano. When you can't just pop it in your mouth, it's dangerous. Unless you're Japanese, they're very good at eating very hot temperature food here. But I have what's called a cat's tongue. They call me cat tongue because I'm sensitive to the heat. When Japanese people want to go out for fun, they'll hit the izakaya. So when you go out in Japan, you always have to share the food. So it's good for a large group to get a tabe hodai. One of the most important words for you to remember. Get a tabe hodai. That's all you can eat. Usually pretty good price. Something like 2,000 or 2,500 yen. That's 20 or 25 US dollars. And you can eat all you want for 2 hours. If you are having a bigger, more exciting party, put on another extra 1,000 yen. And for usually around 3,500, you can get a nomi hodai. Say it with me, nomi hodai. Very important. All you can drink. This is also the same format which is used for school or company parties, because you need to have lots of food that keeps coming for people to stuff their face. And that's important because there's a lot of these parties and you need to keep busy. You see the same people at these parties, which are always the same, but fun. So you have a Bonenkai, which is an end-of-the-year party, sometime in December. And then in January, you have a Shinnenkai for the New Year's party. Yeah, the companies really do both of these. And in fact, in one company or school, you will often have 2 or 3 Bonenkais, plus the Shinnenkai. The reason is you have the whole company, the whole organization end-of-the-year party, and then you have your division end-of-the-year party, and then you're often part of an association with certain responsibilities, and they have their end-of-the-year party. So December is a little bit hard to go out with your friends in Japan because you're very busy with work. In a good way, in a good way. I want to give my opinion about the Japanese soul food. What is that cheap, dependable sort of food that warms your heart, that you can always count on? It's natto. Yeah, look at that beautiful natto. It's fermented soybeans. I don't even know how to describe this. It's sticky, pasty, stringy, slimy. We don't have a very nice word to say this in English, but they use the word neba neba. So neba neba is this stringy quality, and it's a good thing. It's not a bad word in Japan. Natto takes a long time to get used to. It's very, I was going to say smelly, but that's not nice, is it? It has a strong odor. I like it now. It took me about 2 years to enjoy natto. Pickles, they call them tsukemono, and we talked about this earlier, but it's very comfortable to have pickles with plain white rice. It just really feels right. Finally, the ultimate soul food, we have to talk about onigiri. It's the little beloved rice ball. I don't like to call these rice balls because it doesn't give the good enough image. Onigiri is so beautiful. Just rice ball sounds like something, just a boring packaged ball of rice, almost like a snowball. That's not right. Usually they have some kind of filling, like in the picture here, it's umeboshi, pickled plum. It's not a real plum, it's a Japanese fruit, so I think it's easiest to just call this ume. You often put in salmon or vegetable greens. You can really put in many different things in an onigiri. Make them cute for kids. You can yaki onigiris. So this is something that people will take to their lunch. If you're busy at work, you just eat a couple onigiri while you continue on your computer. Oh, onigiri, you are so simple and beautiful, just like Japanese art. We're talking about that next week.